Hi everyone, this is Anne-Marie from Living Love Consciously. I am here to talk about why people are a blessing. I know, right? So, I was at the grocery store yesterday and there were some people that were super annoying. And in another video, I'll talk about like the specific group of people, but they were annoying. And I thought to myself, oh my God, don't think like that, Anne-Marie, because people are a blessing. In that moment, those people were teaching me patience and kindness and compassion, right? But at the same time, I recognize that sometimes people are just self-absorbed and have no idea that or care that their actions are infringing on other people's freedoms. And I still concluded that people are a blessing because everyone that comes into your life, I think, is there to exchange information with you about who you are potentially becoming, and who you are leaving behind. And what do I mean by that? So when someone makes us angry, it kind of tells us, okay, why is this person making me angry? Why am I feeling this way? Is it really necessary? Especially on the internet, I find that a lot of people rage on the internet, whereas in real life they might not rage that way. Or maybe it's always within them, but the internet gives them an anonymous outlet to rage on people. Whereas in the streets, you can't rage like that because you might get punched in the face, right? So it teaches us what are our limitations. So people are a blessing because they teach us what are our limitations. What are we willing to set boundaries, and what boundaries are we setting, and when are we allowing people to cross them? The second aspect, which I mentioned before, is them teaching about who you're becoming and the past. So let's go back to the past. So when you're able to overcome a situation where there might be conflict or there might not be conflict, and it's just like, oh, cool. It might teach you, hey, this person, the past version of me, would have probably reacted like X, Y, and Z. And now I could see that there's a pattern that's changing within me and how I deal with people. The second one is the future, okay? So you've learned from the past, you know your present, so you know what triggers you in the future, and you can adjust your behavior accordingly. A good example of that is, I'm going to say, customer service people. You get on the phone, and sometimes the person has an attitude. And if you're in customer service, sometimes the client has an attitude. And you're like, I'm not trying to deal with that, So what do? You've learned from the past that certain things trigger you. Like, for example, if you felt unheard in the past, it might trigger you to get upset and to take it out on this person who may make you feel like you're being unheard because you're coming with a dissatisfaction and they're brushing you off. But if you've learned that is a trigger for you, or something that how you react, you maintain your sense of calm and you say, you know what? It's okay. This person's probably having a hard day. I'm having a hard day. Let me pay it with kindness, right? One thing I did like about Michelle Obama was when she said, when they go low, you go high. I really take that to heart because it does make a lot of sense. So when somebody's shooting low and being nasty to you, you kill them with kindness. And you are teaching them something. They may not learn it at that moment with you, but I guarantee you will leave an impression within them, a handprint, some kind of impression in their subconscious that will help them to be a better human being to the next person. So it's paying it forward. So people are good for us. Knowing people, having people in our lives, they are good people for us. People are a blessing. So try your best not to ever think of someone as your enemy. Granted, people will do really terrible things, and you don't have to agree with those things, but if your dynamic with that person takes you to a place where you are self-sabotaging yourself and you are lonely and lacking relationships that you need, then it's not the best way to, I think, approach the situation. And to think of people as a blessing, it gives you room to, again, have that dynamic of what is it that I'm learning now, what are they teaching me, and how can I adapt that for future interactions with people. I gave you the example of the customer service. Now we can do a family dynamic, and I will use myself as an example. So for a long time, I will use family and friends. For a long time, I have chased relationships with my family and friends. And what do I mean by that? I mean that I'm the one who's constantly checking in on people. Now, for my siblings, all my siblings are my half-siblings. We never really grew up together. It was only like a few years apart together that I lived with them. And the age gap is 6 years and more. So we have a couple of different what's the word I'm looking for? Challenges with regards to understanding each other. Because there's a generational gap, there's a maturity gap, and obviously there's an age gap, right? And so I would chase relationships with them because out of my family, blended family, I'm the only one from my mom and dad. And all my other siblings are half siblings. Now I'm talking about my dad's family. My mom's family I'm not very close to. I know them, but I kind of keep a little bit of a distance until I can help them further financially, because that's what they need. But because I need to compartmentalize it because it's too much for me to have to deal with. So my dad's children are here, and those are the people that that I know better. So I always the one, hey guys, how are you doing? How's everybody doing? And I'm not asking for anything personal. I'm just checking in on people. And I do this with some of my friends. Hey, how you doing? But my family upsets me more because it's radio silence. And sometimes the responses are borderline rude, where it'll be like in a group chat and one person would be like, well, I answered her last time, so you need to answer her now. And I'm like, what? Oh, what? Do you know I'm busy? Do you know I have a life? Do you know I have a child? Do you know I work really hard and I'm taking time to check up on you? And you're like deciding whether you should answer me and saying, I'm fine, things are good. Like, get out of your fucking ass. Excuse my French. Get out of your butthole is the times that I'm thinking. And I'm like, why am I doing this? No one appreciates it. And people only reach out when there's a problem, they need something. And I have been guilty of it too. Like, I was a teenager and I was a young adult, and people are selfish. Children are selfish. And so I'm not taking that, like when it was happening, when they were teenagers and young adults, I didn't care. But now everybody is in their 30s and are grown folk. And it's like, you need to learn how to treat people. And then when I'm with them, they're always on their phone. So it's like, why can't you respond back and say, I'm good, sis. Thanks for checking in on me. How are you? Like when my son was first born, oh, people went out of their way, they checked in on me all the time, and then all of a sudden it was like the scale went boop, 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 boop. That's how it went. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, they don't call in to check to see how their nephew's doing. And I tried to be like, okay, let's schedule something, because apparently you're so busy. Let's schedule a call like once a week, twice a week, to just kind of, touch base and make sure he gets to know you. Because right now he knows my husband's family. Because my husband makes it a point to call his grandparents, and they call him. Like, his brother calls him. And so my son is very well aware of my husband or my partner's family side of the family. Mine, not so much. And I take responsibility, because I could call like my extended aunts and uncles more often, but nobody has an iPhone. Everybody has an Android. So FaceTiming is, but like, for example, my husband's family went and got an iPhone so they could FaceTime us, because they had an Android. So you see the difference of how people behave when they care and when they want to be close to my family. And some of my family, they have iPhones, so it's not even an Android thing. It's just a complete lack of whatever. So the video is getting long, so I'm going to stop. So what happened is, I sent in the group text and I said, hey, I love you guys, but I'm no longer chasing relationships with you. Nothing. That's it. And I admit, like, I don't know, I don't know what I miss, because I never had it. And I've always craved like close relationships with people, because I've never had that. I never had a sibling that I'm really close to. And that's why I don't want my son to be an only child, because I want him to be close to someone. And some people say, well, I have a lot of siblings and I'm not close to them. Well, that was your parents' fault for not instilling those relationship behaviors within you. Sorry, that was a thing your parents did not pay attention to. And I plan on not doing that if God is gracing me with another child. So it goes back to people are blessings. So what did that interaction teach me about myself? It taught me that I chase relationships with people who necessarily don't always want to have a relationship with me. And why is that? It's because I want to be loved. Because I don't feel like I have love, in the sense that from childhood, it's not now, but there's a child within me that's lacking that sense of security, that sense of love that I was supposed to get to help me balance myself as an adult. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not blaming my parents. It is what it is. Like, I grew up the way I grew up. I'm grateful. Like, sometimes I used to say, I don't know why my dad had me. And my sister responded to me. She said, well, I'm glad he had me. I'm glad I'm here. And I thought about that. And so I'm happy that I am here, because if I wasn't here, I wouldn't be able to have my son. I wouldn't meet my partner, and I wouldn't be a human trying to be a good human to other humans and making this video about how humans are a blessing when they can obviously be selfish, narcissistic, and borderline a-holes. But at the same time, you have humans that are beautiful, that are helpful, that are compassionate, that are kind and loving. And so it's a mix of things happening in the people world, and you just have to really try to connect with the people that align with your values. And everyone is there to teach you something, and that's why people are a blessing. Because they will help you to learn about yourself and the person you can be. All right, I hope what I said was kind of flowed succinctly and I made sense. And I will talk to you again. I love you. Take care of yourself. Leave me a comment. Let me know. Do you think people are a blessing? Do you think they're something else? What's your interactions like? Okay? Talk to you later. Bye.